Hey YouTube, how's it going? It's me, R-Squad911, back again with another Ghostbusters DIY video. Today we're going to be working on the Haslab 2 in the box Ghostrap, and we're going to be installing a couple of cool new things. What I have here is the Charlesworth Dynamics top plate that goes over here. It kind of gives it that double layer look, more movie screen accurate. We're going to install this new flat toggle. I got two versions of this, so I was going to show you guys how to do this one that you can buy from Charlesworth Dynamics. It's a three-way toggle, replaces this one. This is screen accurate. Or we have the Frutto Technologies version, which is kind of like a replacement board. If I can only get this thing open for you guys. It has a new harness. That's the harness right there. It's even rainbow colored. And then the new board here with the switch already soldered on. Theirs is pretty cool. It's only three-way, but then I guess it kind of does its own thing over here by controlling that. I think how many pins is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins. Right? 1, 2, 3, 5 pin. Yeah, and again, it's kind of like, it's the same look of the switch there. The Charlesworth Dynamics is a direct replacement for the switch. Well, not direct replacement, it's the same switch as this one, just you have to do some soldering. And I'm going to explain to you guys how to do that, but I will be installing this one. This switch is a little looser feeling than this switch. This switch has more of a solid feel. But what's great about this is kind of like, you know, if you're not good at soldering and good at wiring, this is your best bet. And this is a great piece of equipment that they've come up with here. All right, so put that on top of here so it doesn't get all shocked from static electricity. Put that switch there. And then, of course, we're going to get rid of this Hatlight here. And we got two versions. We got an actual Linrose Hatlight. And I've installed one of these on my Spirit Halloween trap. And it's fairly simple. All you need to do is get a 5mm 5-volt LED, red, and this Linrose thing here. So you just kind of twist this off counterclockwise. This is the cap there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut this bottom part off, take the metal out, maybe drill a hole through there, take all that metal out. And then this LED would basically string through there and it would sit in there. I'm going to link that section of how I did it for my Spirit trap here in the video. Maybe I'll just cut right to it here. Yeah, so that's how you do it. And then after, when it's all in, you just put the cap back on. It'll be installed there. You kind of drill the hole where this would sit in, and then the LED will just stick out of here, and then you just kind of screw the cap on. Well, click it back on. And then that's how you would do that. But what I did was I purchased the Charlesworth Dynamics kit. Basically, he resin printed the Hatlight bottom. That will just sit into that space, whereas you don't have to wire a new LED in it. And it will just sit over top. Just say this was what is inside there. And this Hatlight would just sit there and the LED would just shine through. Which is great because then you don't have to worry about this being in the way of the board and having to wire a 5-volt LED. Yeah, so I'm going to explain how to do both. Ultimately, I'm just going to go the easiest route and go with the Frutto Technologies and the Charlesworth Dynamics, which is funny because Charlesworth Dynamics also sells this and this, and I purchased this from Ghostwalker Designs, which is, it's always nice to have one of these as a spare. Okay, so actually I'm going to grab my Spirit Halloween trap just to show you guys what it looks like. So give me 1 second. Okay, so here is my Spirit Halloween trap, and you can see I've put that Linrose lens on there. That's that same lens there. And all you do is unscrew it there. When you pull it out, I have my red LED sitting in there. And you can see it just sits like that. And then this would screw on like so. And that actually looks really, really good. All right, cool. All right, I'll put that over here. And yeah, we'll start working on this. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to remove this battery box here, or not, well, I call it the battery box because the batteries are in there, right? And then we're gonna have to remove the trap bottom. And doing that, you'll need a number 1 Phillips screwdriver. And we will remove all these screws. So there's one here. Put that there. Okay, we got all the screws out, and then we just gently pull this up because if you remember from my other videos, the speaker wires are connected right there. And you want to be as gentle as possible because you do not want to tear that out. Okay, so there we go. We have that all taken care of there. What I am going to do is probably, can we do this without? Yeah, we can do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to remove the board from inside there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit from there. I'm going to raise the camera up so you guys can see what I'm doing. Right? So be careful with these wires here, okay, guys? You're going to remove 2 screws. And it's not just removing these 2 screws. There's going to be some other stuff that we're going to have to remove here. So that's 1 screw. And what's nice about this trap is most of these silver screws look like they're the same. Oh, dropped that one somewhere. There we go, it fell out there. So now that the 2 screws on the board are loose, what we need to do now is actually unscrew the top of this. And that we will just use a pair of pliers. Hopefully it's not on there too tight. Nope, just a little bit of a turn. It's on there pretty good actually, even though it's quite easy to turn. Usually when I loosen them up on my other Ghostbusters equipment or props, just loosens really, really quickly. Okay, so we got that nut off. And then there is like a locking washer there that we'll take off as well. And then everything should just push down, unless I'm missing a screw here. Are these wires covering up a screw? Nope. Just the 1, 2. It is loose. I'm just going to jiggle it a little bit. Oh, it's kind of, there's like a plastic peg there. Actually, not sure if one of these screws is actually holding it in. So we're going to grab a screwdriver. We're going to have to remove those anyways because we're going to put that top plate on there. And if I can find my screwdriver here, and it is a 2mm Allen head. I'm going to remove that. I'm not sure if that actually was holding on to there, but we'll see in a second. So I think I figured it out. There is that plastic peg there. There was a little bit of glue on, but I think I've kind of broken it loose. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to press this switch here, and it's going to raise this bar up here, and that will allow you to lift up the switch past it. and pull it out, hopefully. But I'm thinking now I might actually have to remove this. And to do that, we're going to have to unscrew this piece here. It is spring-loaded, so I'm not sure how much tension. Oh, not that much. Okay, so the spring and the screw come out. And then this comes out like so. And now we have full access to it. That was just a very simple way of getting it out. And now you can just pull it straight out. Okay. What is all connected to this? Why is it being so difficult to pull out? Okay, here we go. There we go. And then we just trace this wire back to the board here. And it's just plugged in there. That's the old Hatlight. It's actually quite horrible looking. Yeah, doesn't even compare. But this is how Charlesworth Dynamics kind of figured out how to do his. I think this, he made like a thinner piece of transparent resin, and it fits inside this Hatlight. So what you see here, and then the light will just shine through this clear resin and provide light through here. And what's good is the Frutto Technologies, they put a brighter LED in there, so this will be even brighter when we see it. Okay, so I'll make sure that this is good. And yeah, we're just going to unplug it from the board here. Easy peasy, just like that. And we're going to compare it to the Frutto Technologies one, and they're very, very similar. Awesome. All right. So now, if you wanted, you really do not need, this board. Because when you want to attach this onto there, you have to desolder this, which I think is quite easy. You just need to heat these solder points up, and once it's all heated up, you're able to wipe all that solder away. This should just pull right out, and then this would insert in, and then you would solder it back and then clip these ends. I'll do another video on that separately, but you could really just trace all these wires here to where they go on the switch. So you can see on the board here, this one goes to there, this one goes up to there, and it's really just, it just looks like two lines go into there, these two, or these three, that we just got to trace to it. And then these two here are for the LED. If you look here, it says LED A, LED K. So positive and negative there would probably power the LED. And then these three wires would power the trap to the motor, to different modes. Motor on and motor not on, but on and off in the middle. So yeah, I will figure that out in a later date. I just need to get my voltmeter and just double check all the connections here. And then, yeah, that should be, oh yeah, you can see it here. This one goes to, I believe, this one here, and that would be the white wire. White wire goes to there, and then the yellow wire goes to this top right, and then this green wire goes to this middle one there. So I'm just guessing that one switch controls these two, one switch controls these two, and the middle one here is probably the ground or the off or something, but we'll figure that out. And then, yeah, I'll solder that on, and then I'll solder an LED to it and demonstrate to you guys how that is done. All right, so yeah, comparing it to Frutto Technologies here, it looks good. And it's listed the same. And really, you only need 3 pole for that. I don't know why they use a 6 pole for this one. It's actually only using one of the poles on the top, middle, and bottom, just like this, right? So I guess maybe that could control more if you wanted to, but you really, what else are you going to be controlling, right? Maybe I could solder the fog machine to it, then you can turn it on. No, that I'm just thinking out loud there. That's not what I'm going to do. But yeah, we're just going to install this. So we're going to connect the harness in here. There's only one way for it to go. Could it be this way? Yep, that way. Like that. And then it would plug into the board like that. Okay. But we're going to flip this trap over so just so we can see how everything's going on here. So you can see there, this pressed through there. Now, if you are going to be installing the Linrose switch, you're going to have to shave this down a little bit, okay? You can see there, it just sits on top of it. So you're going to have to either get, if you don't have one of these Charlesworth Dynamics plates, you're just going to have to sand that down. But you will have to drill it out to fit this anyways. So drill it out first to fit that, and then shave off, or just use a clippers like this and just kind of cut off the extra that you don't need, and this will press fit in, and it will cover up. There is a lip right here that should cover up most of your handiwork there. All right, yeah, cool. I would do this one, but I mean, people have made it much easier than me doing all this drilling and hacking when I could just use this, and that just fits right in there. That is the Charlesworth Dynamics one right there. Now, I guess if you really wanted the LED to sit inside this hat light, then this is the only way to go with the Linrose housing and everything. But this one is just easy peasy, lemon squeezy, like that. So what we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to remove all these screws. They're all cosmetic. They really don't show anything. Just going to remove that. And Haslab did such a good job making these screws look like the actual machine screws that they use, but really they're just like plastic screws at the end, right? But with the proper heads. This one you just got to be a little bit careful with. You don't want to strip it because the handle is in the way. You could use a ball end Allen key, but I'm able to get it in on enough of an angle to get it out. Okay, so now that that's off, you can see that this will sit right on top, and then it gives you, it goes flush with the top of that, so you don't have to cut it off, which is great. You get movie accuracy, and then you don't have to hack up your trap. See? Looks good. Sits flat and flush. Not sure. I think we have to glue that in, but that will not be a problem. We've got to remove this protective plastic here. This is a nice matte piece of, I guess, acrylic or plexi, which looks great. It is like the same finish. You might have to weather it a little bit with some silver paint. I'll have to remove this sticker. I'll probably go and buy new stickers too. A trick to remove stickers is you heat it up with a heat gun just to soften up the adhesive, and it should come off quite easily. Now I'm going to go get my heat gun, and I'll be right back. Okay, got my heat gun here. We're just going to put this on the low setting. Actually, that was high setting. And we're going to heat this up. You don't want to heat it too long on the plastic, but you just want to warm it up enough that it softens. Ooh, that almost rolled off the table. Enough that this will peel off nicely. That's if you want to keep it and save it. So you can see it came off nice, just like that. All right, just stick it over here for now. A little bit of glue residue there, that's fine. It's going to be covered up by this. Maybe it'll help hold it down a little bit. And it does. I notice that it is slightly off there, this one, but it should be okay. All right, so we'll just plug that in there, and that looks great. Hopefully, you know what, we'll put the switch through first, just to see that everything lines up. Oh, look at that. It already wants to go back together. I'm going to lift these wires out of the way. You could unplug these, but you know what? These wires, although they seem much more sturdy than the wand wires, you still just don't want to pull up on connections and stuff like that, just for the sake of breaking a connection, right? Okay, this blue wire keeps coming into the getting in the way. You just gotta slowly finesse this in. It's so hard to do this while filming because I can't put my face in front of the camera. I don't want to block you guys, even though my hand is probably doing that just fine. All right, so now I got to get this wire out of the way, which is this right here. Get it underneath there. So this wire, is it caught on the LED? I hope not. And we look through here, and yeah, it looks good. So you can see the LED in there, the switch is up and through. I'm about to break the speaker wire, and then we'll make sure that this all lines up with all those plastic pegs there, which I feel like it is. And then we just screw it in. So magnetic end screwdriver to the rescue. And of course, a lot of these wires are still kind of in the way here. Just put that there for now, and that should be good. Ooh, almost dropped that screw, come on. And yeah, got 2 of the threads in. Screwing that in now, don't go all the way in yet. You just want to make sure everything else lines up. I'm gonna loosen it a little bit more. Switch is through. Going to put the other screw in. I believe it was on the bottom here. The top one was a peg. Okay, we're tightening it down now. That should be good. So we'll flip this over before I plug it in. The switch is there. Nice. Yes, now we'll just plug this back in. Of course, all these wires are in the way. Working on this compared to working on the wand is actually kind of nice. Of course, I have this upside down. You're going to have to look at the pins, and the pins are on the top there, and you're just going to have to look at there and then put the holes which are closer to the top, facing up, or depending on which way you're installing this. It would be nice if I had this on my workbench with an actual light that I could see. Okay, looks like I have it in. Just gonna push it in, make sure it's good. Yep, that's good. All right, so I'm gonna close this up. Make sure no wires are in the way. Yep, no wires are in the way there. There we go. Okay, and you can see the switch is there. And now we're going to put, is there a plastic protector on this one? Nope. Just put that on top of there. I guess we could put this washer there, but probably not necessary. It's probably just all for show. We'll put this nut on. Actually, what I'm going to do is the Charlesworth Dynamics switch comes with this really nice top here. You can see that. Oh, now it's probably gone forever. Nope, it's right there on my foot. Like that, and we'll use that to finish off this. Oh. So the problem here is I don't believe the Frutto technology switch is designed for this cover because it doesn't sit far up enough. Huh. Of course, I keep dropping that. Without that cover, this screws on no problem, and whatever else you would need to install, like the nut and whatnot. But with this cover, it's just thick, too thick for it to catch any threads. I think all you'll be able to do is actually use this nut here, and it just catches 1 or 2 threads, and then you have that look. But now it just looks like it's sitting too far in. All right, so I'm going to have to see if it can actually sit further up. But before we do that, we're going to test to make sure that everything works before I figure other stuff out. Of course, I forgot to put all of this back in, but we're just testing it for now. And will it not go in because I didn't install that part? Maybe. Okay, guess we'll have to install that part first. I don't see why that would be an issue. Let's see if we can adjust this board to sit in more. I don't think so though, because we're already bottomed out on the screw. I'm going to pull it out. I think I know the issue here. I probably installed this with bolts already on it because I'm an idiot, right? Did I do that? I sure did do that. And that is why it didn't work. And you know what? Frutto Technologies also provides you with one of those nice little tops. The Fincher one kind of looks nicer. It's probably on the floor again or something. I don't know where it is, but this is the Frutto Technology. It has like a little notch in it. I guess it helps if you use a screwdriver to tighten it or whatever. Where did I put the other one? I do not know. I've got so much stuff here on the table that it is probably hiding here somewhere. Aha, okay. So these are the two different ones. They're both quite nice, actually. Just the... Did I call it Fincher? Charlesworth Dynamics. I'm always thinking of Charles Fincher because of the ribbon cables. But yeah, I kind of like this one better, but this is not too shabby at all. That one looks great too. So I like having options. I'm just going to mix and match. I'm going to use Charlesworth Dynamics one. Okay, so again, back to me being an idiot. I didn't take off the bolts there. It is just as long as the factory one and just as long as the Charlesworth Dynamics one. I just have all the bolts and stuff on that one too. So back in it goes. Sorry about that, guys. You know, when I'm trying to like do these videos quickly and efficiently and look like I know what I'm doing, stuff gets missed. So when I'm trying to look like I know what I'm doing, I am not knowing anything. You can just call me Jon Snow. Of course, all of these wires are now stuck again. Okay, there, and I feel on the other side, it's actually sitting a lot better, more flush, and I can feel the threads sticking out a lot better. I'm not going to tighten it all the way. Where's the screw that fell out? It's right here. And then again, when you tighten these, you just tighten it till it gets a little bit snug. You do not want to go ham on it. Once it stops. Don't go anymore. Okay, so now I know that everything is good to go. We're going to put this thing back on. Like so. I'm going to put the spring on. The retaining screw, just like the wand. And here it is. Screw that in. Tight. And we can put this back on top. Make sure no wires get pinched here. See, this wire came out of this. You want to kind of put it back in there. Just kind of make sure that it stays in place. Okay, now let's test if it works. You can see the LEDs working in there. Turn it on. And it's working. We'll check with the motor. That turns it off. Everything's good to go. Okay, we'll turn that off. And then we'll put on this screw. I wonder, oh no, I think you do have to put on the nuts because these things kind of just end. They don't go all the way through. So we're going to have to put the lock washer. The nut. This switch is so much wider that it actually gets in the way. It's kind of crazy. I'm going to tighten it a little bit on there. Just enough that it doesn't back out. Enough that you can't turn it by hand. I think that's good. Maybe a little bit more just for good measure. There we go. And then we're going to stick this cover on. Of course, I put it on crooked, and now with my dry hands, I can't get it off. All right, we'll figure that one out later. Okay, so now we're going to take the Charlesworth Dynamics LED. Of course, I forgot to put the plate back on. Okay, guys, I got everything off. We're going to stick this plate on like so. Looks good. I'm not sure if I need to put on this, but we're just going to do it flat on top. And then screw it on. Okay. Oh, we just have to tighten that too. I'm not even sure if that's all the way down. So that's not even tight enough for it to go all the way to the bottom. So you might need to have that washer there and then this on top. But it looks pretty good. Okay, now we'll put on these screws. And all the holes line up very, very nicely. And now these screws aren't recessed either. They just sit at the top, which is nice. I'm also going to be doing a video later on. I'm just waiting for some parts to come in so I can do a comparison. We're going to be comparing the Charlesworth Dynamics Trap Hatlight with the Frutto Technologies Hatlight, and I'm just waiting for the Ghostrap 42 Hatlight to come in. But slight differences, but yeah, we'll get to those once everything is in so I can do a proper comparison. Okay, so that looks good. We're going to put this in. Everything's working again. Thank goodness. And of course, we got to install this, which just kind of sits on top of there. It is very close to this screw here. Just clears it, doesn't touch it, which is a good thing. And we're going to turn it on. And when you turn it off, the light will go. And that is very bright. That's even brighter than my individual LED there. Wow. Okay. Look at that. That is way, way brighter than that. And that has an LED right inside the hat. Huge difference. Wow. Yeah, so if I were to choose between the methods that I would do it, I would most definitely choose the Frutto Technologies board. It's just a plug and play option. You don't have to hack apart your trap, especially if you get the Charlesworth Dynamics top plate here. Huge, huge difference. Everything looks good. Even this plate looks good. Like you can just see that extra bit of or layer of trap there. And then, of course, you can get, I think Dragon Workshop has one for the bottom and the top in aluminum, but I don't want to add more weight. This plexiglass or this acrylic weighs nothing, and it looks great. But yeah, we'll turn it on. We will fire it up. Oops. And it looks and performs great. You can turn it off. Doors stay open. We'll go up close like that. You can see that it hasn't sat all the way flush in there. I probably have to put the washer there. A nut would be too much, I believe. And this one's a little thinner too, so you're definitely going to have to add a lot more in there. I'm going to play around with this and then I'll update you at the end of this video, so I'll be right back. Okay, here's the update. Ease of use, Frutto Technologies fancy finishing nut works better than the Charlesworth Dynamics one because it can actually screw through and you still get that nice base. Charlesworth Dynamics, there is a lip on the inside there, so it doesn't screw through. It just kind of stops at the end. So you're going to have to put some washers and stuff under there. But yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So all in all, perfect package from Frutto Technologies. All right, so that is my how-to video DIY. Stay tuned. I'm going to, desolder this one off the board here and then solder this one. And yeah, we'll show you how to do that in case you don't want to buy the Frutto Technologies or if you already had one of these on hand. All right, so yeah, there's going to be two ways of doing it. Either I desolder this, put it in there, or simply just cut these wires and solder it straight to the switch, and then you would just mount it into there, so you don't even have to mount the board in there. And then use the other two wires and mount the LED and use the actual Linrose here. So I'll do that video next. It's going to be a long one just because of soldering and everything, but it'll be a good one, hopefully. All right, so please like and subscribe, comment below, let me know what you think about this and which method you guys are going to be going with. All right, so big shout out to Frutto Technologies for releasing such a cool product. They always come out with these like really nice stuff, and they're coming out with a new I forget how many segment bar graph for the trap, so it's going to be awesome. All right, so please like and subscribe, comment below again, and catch you guys in the next one. Peace.